All right, let's try this again. You know, sometimes the live show just doesn't ever live too good. Anyway, what's happening, everybody? Hope everybody's having a fantastic whatever day you're watching this. Had a fun day today hanging out at Stubb Cycles for the Suzuki demo day. It was a pretty cool event where Suzuki comes in and brings in an arsenal of a bunch of motorcycles in the fleet, and you get to ride them, and that's always a lot of fun. And it's a ton of fun because, well, you get a chance to have a big diverse group of bikes, a big diverse group of people, everybody experiencing these bikes for the first time. And some people experiencing bikes for the first time all over again. Sniper's in. What's up, man? DM is in. What is happening, my friend? Hope everything is going exceptionally well for you. RMAC, what is up, bro? He's got the ball guy with the flex and the specs. I like it. So RMAC's got the Cherry RC. We're going RC0 this evening. Cheers. Ding. But I was able to have a ton of fun today. Got to talk to a lot of folks. Folks came out. So if you did make it out to the demo day, hopefully you stopped by and said hi. I tried to talk to everybody that I possibly could, and had a lot of fun. Now, the funny thing about these demo days is so today, let me give you guys a quick behind the scenes. RMAC saying, look like you had a blast. I did have a blast. So interestingly enough, when they have these demo days, when they'll basically just sequester a bunch of motorcycles, right? And they put them all into that giant truck, and they just truck them all over the United States, and everybody gets a chance to ride it, and like for some folks, it could have been, the TT, by the way, this is one of the bikes that I did want to, that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Listen, I don't know what Suzuki did on the GSX-8 TT. That's that really pretty green bike that I did a ride review. Oh, and by the way, I tried to get as much footage up as I could. So definitely check some of that stuff out. The riding videos, I get it because I'm not doing a full-on ride review. It's not quite what you might want to see. Believe me when I tell you, the TT is going to be an upcoming ride and review bike. That's a motorcycle that really does deserve to be, it deserves a second look, because I don't know what Suzuki has done with that bike in terms of mapping. It's the same engine. It's the same 778 or 776 that you get in the 8R, the 8S, the V-Strom. It's the same engine, but there's something different going on with that bike. I don't know what it is, but if you watch that video, there's a couple of times where I go, this thing runs different. Like, this thing's a little bit punchy. So I'm looking forward to bringing that to you. But it was a really fun day, and I got to spend some time with a motorcycle that I hadn't had a chance to spend a lot of time with lately. And it's one of those situations where, you find yourself a little bit, hold on, I'm chopping off the top of my head here. I found myself a little bit bummed out that I had let a bike go, and it just so happens that that they had one of them there. And although I didn't get a chance to ride it, it was a red GSX-R 1000. Now, yeah, I've got my GSX-R 1000, but I do kind of miss Red Alert. That's a bike that really kind of helped to kick off the channel. And it's kind of interesting that, I got a chance to, spend a little bit of time around that bike. Didn't ride it, but I did ride another motorcycle that I really did enjoy. Maybe I should show it to you. Oh, what is going on with this? What is that? Yes, in fact, it is. Okay. So that is the GSX-R 750. And yes, we've got a new GSX-R 750 in the fleet. And listen, I wasn't kidding when I said that this is If I found a great deal on one, I would pick it up. Guys, the number that they threw at me for me to take this bike home so they didn't have to throw it in the back of that truck and drag it back to Southern California, you'd have picked it up on it too. And I got to say, there's some cool differences about this bike. I'm in the process. I'm bringing you guys along because I have been trying to get this thing cleaned up. So I will park the camera here so you can see what I'm up to. But so far, already removed one of the passenger pegs because that's just, I can't have that. We've got the tail cow already put on, or the rather I should say the cow cover already on. We've got our we've got the hot topics. Anyway, we've got the New Rage undertail already ordered up. It's on the way. We're going to be getting the mirrors off of this thing, and we're going to be getting the mirror block offs with the flashy. And like I say, I'm in the process of just cleaning her up. So some things about this bike that are a little bit different than the bike that I had before, and there are some differences here. The first is that she is a Cali girl. So what does that mean? Well, if you ever want to see on a GSXR or many of these bikes, you're going to be looking for a sticker right down here. I don't know if you can see this, but that is it's the evaporative system that the California bikes have. Basically, all it is, it's a charcoal canister. But a lot of guys do what's known as a smog delete, and this is the bit of kit that they'll delete off the bike. It doesn't have anything to do with power. It's just something that you can do on these California bikes. And as far as weight reduction, I don't know, not enough for me to really even worry about. I may not even go so far as to bother with any of that because, well, there's the second thing that comes with this bike. Okay, so the funny thing is, and I don't really know how to say this, but this bike is the best running GSXR 750 I have ever ridden. And I'm not saying that for effect, and I'm not saying that because it's mine. They're all the same to me. But I found it pretty curious when there's a video that I have very recently posted. By the way, I apologize for just how long it's been taking this stuff to come out. DM saying, tear that carbon canister and extra hose out. No, it's coming out. When the body panels all come off the bike and when the tank comes off to do the basically pair valve delete, all of that's going to come out. The hoses are going to come out. And I'm going to do a block off on all of that. So it's just it's an extra step, but it's not that big of a deal. But the crazy thing is this bike, it really does run better. Where I noticed it is there's a video that I just put out, and it's kind of funny. I kind of sneak the bike out and I go really take it for a ride. Right. And the funny thing about it is you kind of pick up on this one point where I'm going, damn, this thing runs good. Like it's a healthy GSXR 750. I noticed that immediately it was stronger than the black bike that I rode, and it was marketably stronger than the blue bike. So the other blue bike. So for whatever reason, that's the story with this bike. Now, a little bit of background again on how these motorcycles come into play. Basically, Suzuki just pulls them out of inventory. They become a DNI, so a do not inventory type bike. And its whole entire life is basically built around parade laps. That's about it. You fire it up, the bike never cools off all day. People ride the thing around at about 40 miles an hour. You get a couple of chances to spice it up a little bit, and then you bring it back, rinse and repeat. So in essence, this motorcycle has been going through break-in for the last 1,500 miles. Maybe that's part of the reason why it runs so good. I don't know, but it runs exceptionally well. But one of the funnier things about this bike is this. I don't know that this bike was ever ridden in anger at any point in its life until it met me. And one of the key takeaways for me, after 1,500 miles, the rotors were clean. I mean, the rotors on this bike looked like they had never even been used. The brakes had you never ever woed the bike down. And so what's funny, it's actually really funny. I'm trying to bed in the brakes, basically. I've been running this bike and dropping it into corners pretty hard on the BT 016s that are on it, the tires, in other words, which brings up another point. Look, the 016s are far and away better than those Pirelli Rosso 4s that came on the 636, but they're not up to par with the S22s. And I had this thing on the side of the tire pretty hard. This was this evening. Like, this was really like maybe an hour and a half ago. Had it on the side of the tire on our favorite right-hander. Or no, on a different right-hander, but also did that one too. Anyway, there's another right-hander that I came in really hard, really hot, dropped it into, and there's a big fat paint stripe that goes right along the inside of this thing. And as I came in, I just went to pick up my line. And as I hit the paint stripe, the whole bike just shifted over the width of the paint stripe. So about that far, the whole bike just, and it goes, actually goes, it kicked over on the paint, then it goes like that. So anyway, basically two-wheel drifted coming through this corner on the 016s. But here's the thing. I'm not saying all of this to say that they're bad. They're actually really good. They're very progressive, and they never did anything squirrely. The bike never got out of line, and all I did was power through it. So they did well enough, though, on the Miller Cutoff Road, where my entry speed was really high. I dropped it in, held 77 or 78 miles an hour through the corner, which is right on par with the 636, and then came out the other side hard, which is another thing I wanted to talk about with this bike versus the other blue bike. The other blue bike had a weird flat spot, and I don't know why this was, but it had a very strange flat spot on corner exit. I mean, you could just gather up a handful of throttle and the bike just felt like it didn't want to move. Not this one. This bike feels way closer to, I'll tell you what, the bike sitting behind me feels like the CBR 1000. Matter of fact, in some ways, as chunky of the power that this thing makes, it almost feels better than the CBR 1000 in terms of power delivery. Go figure. So, it's kind of a funny thing. I mean, when you're literally comparing this bike to leader bikes, it's just kind of weird. But there's no nannies with the GSXR 750. Maybe that's part of the reason why. But I can tell you that the power delivery of this bike sitting behind me is it's mentionably stronger than the other 750s that I've run lately. So much so that I even checked gearing. I thought, maybe this thing's got a little bit more of aggressive gearing situation. That certainly was not the case. So anyway, here's what I'm looking forward to doing. Putting a little bit of head-to-head between these bikes. Now, I will be putting together a standalone video where I will be talking subjectively about the two different bikes. But what I want to do also is maybe get a head-to-head, and I want to do a head-to-head with the GSXR 750 bone stock, the way that it sits, versus the 636, which is about as good as you can set up a 636, if we're all being honest, right? I'd like to get a roll race out of the two for sure. Now, as far as getting into handling and things like that, here's the funny thing. Because I think somebody had asked, which one handles better? Oh, Sniper asked, which corner's better, the 636 or the GSXR 750? Good question. Short answer, 636. The 636 has a much lighter feel to it. The front end feels lighter. It's easier to tip in. However, think of the amount of work that I've had to put into the 636 to get it to that point. Exhaustive suspension fiddling. And of course, it had to get moved over to a set of Bridgestone S22 tires, which this bike will eventually get as well. But does that mean that it's better? It's just different. And that's the best way that I could put it. DM, thank you so much. First tank of gas is on me, man. Thank you so very much. Well, we'll be burning up a lot of that gas getting this bike down the road. And because to kind of a quick answer to the question, I never had to touch the settings on my other GSXR 750. Never did. Never had to touch it. And I didn't obviously touch the settings on this bike, and I was able to rail at basically the same pace on arguably a crappier set of tires. So at least a set of tires that had never seen the side of the tire. So in that case, which one is better? I think whichever bike you are the most comfortable with. But subjectively speaking, right now, the 636 feels better. But again, that's a subjective thing. And I'm so at home on this bike that I really can't say one is necessarily better. But DM, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that a ton. RMAX saying, DM always in with the gas tanks, man. I do appreciate that a ton. Very, very much. So appreciate the support, buddy. And it will be put to good use. But I got to say, this is actually a really cool. So the GSXR 750 is one of the bikes that really helped to kick off the channel doing motorcycle stuff. And one of the things that I've found is that without having a GSXR 750 in the arsenal, I am not coming into the conflict fully armed. I have found that how do I put this? The GSXR 750 is such a good barometer, and it's such a great bike that it's the best bike to compare pretty much any of the other motorcycles against. I've got to have one for the channel, or else I really can't speak from a place of either experience or just a better professional understanding of how these other motorcycles run. You got to have one of these to compare against an R9. You got to have one of these to compare against an RCR. Any of the middleweights are always going to have the GSXR 750 as their own yardstick, if you will. Now, they may not be going up against it directly, like a direct line of sight competition, but everybody's always going to default to some known value, and that's the GSXR 750. Oh, Sniper saying, first thing I'm doing is putting those S22s on the ZX6R. Please do that. I run, as far as pressures go, I run 34 up front, 36 out back. 36, 38 is also a good measurement, a good pressure. Whatever you're comfortable with, that gives really good feel for that bike. Circus asking, did your dealer have this color lying around from last year still, or did you purchase this bike pre-owned? Well, as I was saying earlier, it was never titled, but this was the demo bike from the demo day. And this is one of those situations where everything kind of came in line. This was the last Suzuki demo day of the year. This bike was pulled out of inventory by Suzuki as a do not inventory for demo day purposes. It's basically spent its entire life as a parade bike for demo days. So when it comes time to have to drag these things back, they've got to sell them, but they've got miles on them, albeit pretty cake miles. But they are serviced and they're taken care of exceptionally well. It's just that, well, what do you do with a bike that's never been titled? It's technically still new, but has been in a very unique situation. Well, you offer them up at incredibly steep discounts and get suckers like me to buy them. So that's exactly what I did. And again, I've got to say, I got super lucky because it's the bike that I wanted back. So there she is. Oh, one other thing. And this is a video that's going to be, I may have mentioned this in a couple of other videos that I had put out. The lack of a quick shifter on the 750. Okay, this is kind of a funny thing. You know what motorcycle has broken me from ever really complaining about quick shifters, having them or not having them or whatever? It's the 636. Let me tell you something. I have gone through this litany of headaches with the 636 dealing with the quick shifter on that bike. A lot of it has to do with how much throw the shifter has. just the actual shifter lever has. It creates a bit of an issue. There's a lot of things going on with the 636 that I want to try to address in the form of a video, just to try to say, look, this is why I've been doing this. I put out a kind of a quick video on the FTECU sensor that I put on the thing, the shift shaft stabilizer, all of it into an effort to try to get the bike to act right. And the problem is, it's an issue with Kawasaki transmissions. They have too long of a throw to shift. That creates problems with shift sensors and delay times not really being in sync, because longer throws take longer to shift, but the sensor is going to pick up no matter what. So you can get these really strange delays and all this other stuff. It's just a Kawasaki transmission thing. It's the way that they are. And what I found is, getting on the GSXR 750, here's the funny thing. The Suzukis are interesting in that they have a very short throw on their shifter, which makes life with a quick shifter really nice. But it also makes just having a manual transmission on a motorcycle really nice too. Super easy to ride, super easy to modulate the clutch, which is super silky, by the way. A lot of good things going on there. And I found that when I was riding the 750, I was thinking, God, I'm so happy this thing doesn't have a quick shifter. It was one of the weird first, it was a gut reaction type thing. Like, oh, thank God this thing doesn't have a quick shifter. Because I just got through going through all of the headaches trying to sort out the 636, which is about 85% fixed. But the problem is, it's as fixed as it's going to really get, honestly, because of how the sensor fits and all this other stuff. And there's nothing I can really do because of the length of the, anyway, I was thinking about all of that. And I was going, God, it's so good that this bike doesn't have that technology, so I don't have to mess with it. It's got a super short shift throw to it. And I mean, I'm fanning through the gears on this thing smoother and just as quick as if I had a quick shifter for the most part, unless I'm super in it to win it. And even then, it's not that far off. So is it better? Man, I wouldn't say that it's better that it doesn't have it, but it's not going to be made better to add it to it. Does that make sense? Anyway, hopefully you guys understand what I'm talking about. I love that it's old school. I love that it's got the analog clocks. I love that it's got no quick shifter, and DM just said it right there. It's the traditional blue and white livery. Guys, I don't know of any other way. Look, if this bike would have been any other livery, any other color scheme, I probably wouldn't have jumped on it. But because it really is like I'm getting my bike back, not to mention this thing runs so good, which I didn't even get a chance to find that out until, I didn't even get a chance to find out how the bike really ran until I had already bought the bike and I was already sneaking the thing out. So it's just kind of funny the way that everything ended up working out, but it did work out. And again, the deal that I got, can't really talk about it. I don't know that these deals are just thrown around. Plus, it's my relationship with the dealership, but it's a deal that is so good that I would have been stupid not to jump on it. So huge shout out to Hunter, Tommy, and the rest of the gang for taking care of me on that. Thank you guys so very much. Saw me coming a mile away, though, especially a blue and white GSXR 750. I'm a sucker for it as it is. So there that goes. But let me check in with you guys real quickly. I kind of blew past a lot of y'all. I kind of sitting here with this bike behind me. DMAB, what's that pretty blue and white thing sitting behind you? Yes, sir. Thank you so much again, my friend. Armac saying, hope we get Professor to talk about the CF Moto V4 again. That prototype is so weird, it's sexy. Let me tell you about that bike, boys. Okay, so here's what's up with CF Moto. If you want to look at how this bike is probably going to exist in the real world, look at the 750 SS. The 750 SS, decent power, by all accounts, great technology, comfortable ergonomics. capable enough as it is. The only downside is it looks like it is checking in a little bit heavy and a little bit heavier than maybe it would have been originally listed out as in terms of curb weight. That's okay. I'm totally cool with that. The 675 is already proving itself to be one hell of a motorcycle. And this is in a category, look, and I was talking to some folks about this today at the demo ride. Look, here's the problem with the CF Moto situation. First of all, let's not forget, CF Moto has a big stake in KTM. So let's just go ahead and, if we need a little bit more panache, there you go with that, right? But here's the twist. Build the thing that the buyers want to spend money on. Don't worry about technical specifications. The problem is that anytime you start measuring something by some other measure and comparing it, you start to lose sight of what makes it so good. And the thing is that the CF Moto products, they're a little bit heavy, okay? A little bit down on power, if you say so. But the problem is they've got tech. They got all the right parts in all the right places. They got all the tech, all the ergos. They handle great. I mean, listen, all of these bikes handle exceptionally well, and they're value priced, and they come with what, a 2-year warranty. You get all kinds of upshot with the CF Moto products. This V4 is not going to be any different. I can assure you of that. Yeah, it's got the really cool active aero. By the way, if you haven't seen that, look that up. The active aero on the new V4 CF Moto is trick. There's a lot of things going on there. Will it really make 200 and something horsepower? I don't know. It's yet to be seen, but does it matter? Probably not. It's 1,000 cc's or 1,100. I can't remember exactly, but it's going to make appropriate power. It's going to make great power it's going to make power adequate for the looking at the bike. Like, it looks like that. It needs to make good power. It's going to make that kind of power, which is perfect. That's all it has to do. It's got the awesome, very unique styling to it. Absolutely like that a lot. There's a lot going on with this bike, and there's nothing really to complain about with it. So I'm looking forward to seeing that motorcycle hit the streets. I can't wait to get a leg over on one if I can. And if I can, believe me, I'll let you guys know. But the thing about that CF Moto, the V4, is that it puts a lot of manufacturers on notice. And listen, you don't have to be a well-known European brand or a dyed-in-the-wool Japanese brand, Italian or otherwise, to be able to make a motorcycle that people want, that people will buy, that people will enjoy. And here's the thing, for the longest time, this is one of the things that you've got to remember. Okay, well, Bert, let me start over. The specs on the 675, the V4, and every other motorcycle that CF Moto makes, as well as many of the other Chinese manufacturers that aren't in the United States yet, but a lot of those bikes are making power and have power to weight ratios that were considered to be the norm for a sport bike back, 15, 20 years ago. And you go, well, 15, 20 years ago. Yeah, 50. These things haven't really evolved all that much from a power perspective. Tire technology hasn't really evolved. Well, it has. Tire technology has advanced more than what these have advanced, because tire technology had to catch up with the kind of power that something as practically vintage as this GSX-R 750 or my dad's Daytona. I think you get the idea. The power output is there. It's just that things have gotten a bit more ridiculous as time has gone on, and manufacturers started having this, freaking death match going after who can make the most power with the smallest displacement. Well, the Chinese manufacturers aren't playing that game. They're in the motorcycle building game, street motorcycle more specifically, not race bike game that the rest of the world was in. And so for a lot of people, that is what they're looking for. They're not looking for a race replica in their sport bike. They're looking for a sporty bike that they can go out and have fun on, that has great technology and that they can be comfortable on. So anyway, that's where all that's coming from. Pretty excited about that, by the way. Right. Didn't take long for the Gixxer fix to kick in, for sure. You're catching up with you guys. Summer saying California car, Gavin Newsom. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, dude. Itches in. Good day. DM, tear that carbon canister out. It will end up coming out at some point. The GIMP mod delete. Mullets. Oh, Sovereigns, let's hope it has a good service record. It has the best service record. They when they pull one of these bikes out of inventory, it has to go through all the normal service intervals that the rest of the bikes, or that if it's in the owner's manual, it has to go through it for these types of situations when they're used as demo bikes. Ryan's saying it was rainy there today. I think we're getting rain. For the demo day today, believe it or not, at one point in the very early in the morning, it got real cloudy. We had a little bit of a mist. And I was thinking, oh no, we're not going to be able to have the demo day. Cyber saying, I'm in love with that 2025 ZX6R KRT edition. Getting it soon, dude. That bike and I, there it is. This bike and I are crazy tight, man. Now, I will say this. It did take a while to get it sorted out. I'm not even going to try to sugarcoat it. I weigh, in just walking around clothes, I check in at like 203, 202. And so the suspension on the KRT is a little on the soft side, but once it's set up and once you get your hydraulics worked out, it's really good. The difference, then the reason why I'm so critical of that bike is just because of how much work that I did have to put into it to get it right. Whereas this thing, you just show up. You got your gear, you hop on it, make sure your tire pressure is good, and you rip it. I mean, seriously, that's how good the Gixxer 750 is right out of the box. There's nothing really I didn't anyway, have anything to adjust. I will be getting the measurements off of it. We'll be doing our nerd stuff like we have on the wall back over here, which you can't see, where I will, I don't know if you can see that, this stuff right over here. This is all the different settings for the one on the left is the GSXR 1000 and the 636 is the one on the right. So there will be, yeah, we will certainly have some nerd stuff going on over here because, you know, I can't let you guys ride without education, right? But I will be bringing you guys along for that ride, and I'll show you, you know, just exactly how the bike is set up from the factory. And again, huge thanks, DM. I appreciate the Petrolina, my friend. Oh, Armac saying, I'm glad I got the CF Moto 675 SS and not the 750 SS. I want the CF Moto V4. I would probably skip on the 750 SS. Not that it's a bad bike. It's just I think the 675 is a better bike. Sam saying if Kawasaki would drop the H2 motor and more stuff. Yeah, you know, the only thing with the H2 motor is with bikes, it's kind of weird because you can get to a place with bikes where they are overpowered to a point where you have to really employ nannies just to keep the front end on the ground, and even employing really strong throttle discipline. I mean, you're going to do that anyway if you're going to be at that level, but yeah, the H2, man, I'd like to see them do something like really trick with that thing. Sniper saying, thanks, Professor. Thank you. Sorry, saying spike the like, yes. DM saying a blue and white Gixxer 750 just hits home, doesn't it, man? Dang. I mean, there's just something about that. It's just so right. Oh, and this is something else too. You know, and you're going to hear me say this a lot about the GSXR 750. Oh, and again, kind of working through some upcoming videos here, but the 636 has made me appreciate the GSXR 750 even that much more. It did so because the 636 really is that good. Now that it's all sorted out, painfully. I'll never quit bitching about that, by the way. But now that it's all sorted out, it's got the right tires on it. It's got the tune, the full exhaust, the velocity stacks, and everything that you can put on a 636. Now it's good. GSXR 750. Now it's good. Don't have to touch it. Don't have to do anything to it. And that's kind of the twist, right? The GSXR 750 is occupying a very unique position with me, in that you don't really have to do anything to it. It's already really good, and it's already just a sport bike in its purest form. And in talking to it, this is going to come up, so I'm just going to go ahead and address it. You'll hear me talk about this again in a future video, but you know, we had spoken about the EICMA show that we're in the middle of right now, and you know, is there going to be a new release GSXR 600/750 for 2026, or are we going to hear something about Euro 5 for 2027? And obviously we didn't get that, right? I mean, all we have is just new colorways, and that's the extent of the difference, right? But I got to talking to the Suzuki guys today, and if you watch any of the videos, you'll see where they had the guys from Suzuki were there. You can talk to them, and you know, all of this kind of stuff, right? And they were very accommodating, by the way. Shout out to the guys from Suzuki. Very accommodating, absolutely, you know, listened and worked, you know, talked to me about all the stupid questions that I had, of which I had many. Okay, so, you know, they were very patient with me, so thanks, guys. But in saying all of that, I asked, why is it that Suzuki won't update these bikes? Seriously, this is a question, this is a comment, or however you want to phrase it. This is something that comes up a lot with the Suzukis, is why aren't they updated? Why don't they have the quick shifter like the 636, the TFT like the 636? Yes, they do have riding modes, but they don't really have, there's no nannies, there's no wheelie control, there's no nothing. There's nothing on this bike. Why not? And I got the best response I could have ever had or ever hoped to get from anybody from anywhere, much less a direct line of sight to the guys from Suzuki. And it goes like this. He goes, look, first of all, and he was real honest. He goes, we don't hear about anything. You know, we're not in the know when it comes to that. All of that has to stay really hush hush if it is a thing, because of obvious reasons, right? He goes, but it works out like this. He said, we do know about the middleweights, and whether or not they're going to have something coming up. The reason why they haven't changed it in the last 15 or 16 model years, I don't have that many fingers to count with anymore, is they literally will sell every one of these motorcycles that they make in the markets that they sell them in. And I'll take that a step further. The machines that make the motorcycle, the machines that make this, the frame, the this, the that, every component or whatever, you could run them 3 shifts, just make motorcycles, just keep going at the pace you're going. That pace at that pace, they will sell every one of the motorcycles that the machines can make in a year. You know, that includes downtime, maintenance time, you know, updates, whatever the case is, it doesn't matter. At the pace that the machines can make the bikes, they will make that number of bikes, and then they will sell that number of bikes. It is in parity. It is in complete kismet. Everything is working together, and that is exactly why they don't make the change. And you might say, well, what about a running line change? There's no need to. The machines that make the bikes are made to make the bikes the way that the bikes are made. They're not going to change anything, and they're not going to sell any more bikes if they make any more changes to the bikes that they're making now. So in other words, if they were to make a change to the bike and there was a greater demand, then all you're going to have is a vacuum for the bike. You're not going to have more bikes flooding the market. You're just, with a TFT screen or a quick shift or a rebody or whatever, ain't going to work like that. All you're going to have is maybe a little bit more demand for the bike in the short term, and then the demand goes right back to where it was. And now you're just looking to recoup the cost of a refit for whatever the parts are that you're talking about. And here's the other thing. So there's that. So they're selling every one that they make anyway. Why change? Which is right. I mean, listen, if I'm making hamburgers and I make a hamburger a certain way and I can only cook so many hamburgers at a time because I only got 2 hands and they're exceptionally good. And somebody goes, well, if you did something to this thing, it's going to be better. And I'm going, dude, I can't sell any more than what I'm making now. Why would I make a change? Same idea. Okay. Think of it like this though, too. The guys that are buying these bikes don't want any changes. It's funny that, and even he was saying, look, I mean, if we had a lack of sales and the lack of sales was because it doesn't have a TFT screen or a quick shifter or a rebody or whatever, then that would force our hand into making a change to make the bike different so match the market demand. The market demand is practically demanding that they don't change the motorcycle. So it could end up being to their detriment. So hopefully that answers some of the question. I wanted to get to that a little bit because that had come up in conversation and I wanted to make sure that I had a direct line of sight to Suzuki to talk about that. And they were real candid with me. They're like, look, this is how it is with those bikes. And he goes, by the way, same with the Busa. That bike's not getting any changes, not getting any updates, doesn't need to, nobody wants it to. And why make a change if you don't have to? So, and we can touch on that a little bit more if you have more questions. I'm hoping I answered some of those questions for you, but I did get a chance to talk to him in depth and in detail. And I mean, it made perfect business sense, perfectly good sense. And they are catering to their customer, and that's what their customer wants. Skid saying, I slapped my phone on the handlebars on all the bikes. Wait, what did I miss? Hold on. Oh, Skids, has CF solved the issue with the subscription for the connectivity? I don't think so. I think they're still doing that. So according to Google, USA has the RideSync app free. Rest of the world is a subscription only. Don't know. Wouldn't keep me from buying would not make my decision for me. That wouldn't make a decision for me either. I'm with you on that. I slapped my phone on the handlebars on the bikes anyway, for sure. Oh, speaking of motorcycles, did y'all know that U-Haul has 2 different sizes of trailer? I had no idea, but I learned today when I went to go get the trailer for the bike sitting behind me. It's kind of funny because the guy goes, hey, we don't have the I said, I'm here to pick up a motorcycle trailer. And the guy goes, cool. We have only the big trailers in stock. I went, I'm here for a motorcycle trailer. He goes, yeah, it'll hold a motorcycle. And I'm going, no. I don't want a big trailer that can hold a bike. I need a motorcycle trailer. I need the tire chop. And he goes, yeah. And I'm going, yeah. And I'm like, what am I not? I'm not picking this up. What's up? Anyway, yeah, they have a big one and a small one. If you guys didn't know that, now you know. But anyway, it's one of the Harley rallies is in Galveston right now. I think it's Republic of Texas. And anyway, they brought in a bunch of motorcycle trailers to service because, guys, for whatever reason, they need a trailer. There's a bazillion bikes down there. So anyway, I figured I would share that with you. Just a little bit of a side quest for you. Carl's checking in, saying I'm in Vancouver, Canada, and I'm pretty sure we don't have CF Moto here. I know that Chinese cars are tariffed like crazy here, and I'm assuming Chinese motorcycles are too, probably. So we're saying I'm obsessed with it. I like the 750, but the ZX6 KRT is just calling my name. Oh yeah, it's an awesome bike. Saying he's going to be doing the exact same setup on his 636. I would suggest it. Don't forget, I went down 1 tooth on the rear sprocket, trying to calm down the RPM just a little bit. I will probably not go with the 16 tooth front sprocket on that bike. I really like the way that bike gets down the road as it is. I like that it's a little bit snappy. Hey, and I'll tell you something else too. My bike, the Suzuka Perform, the Kawasaki, that thing will accelerate. I buzz it up to 140 miles an hour all the time. Now I know everybody's going to say, well, the Gixxer 750 is faster. I got one right here, baby. I got one right here. And I will tell you this, it is strong. Um, but I'm not really a size queen when it comes to power output with bikes. I am more about height, weight, proportionate, and the bike feeling good. And if the bike feels good, it runs good, that's all I really care about. Although I will be doing some objective testing with the bikes, don't get me wrong, but I guess the point that I'm getting to here is don't worry about, because you're going to hear, why don't you get the 636 is an awesome bike. And as far as like top speed or how fast it'll go, I promise you, this thing behind me, well, and the Kawasaki, I'll buzz it up to 140, 145 indicated, and it is rock solid steady, and it will absolutely rip to that number without even blinking an eyeball. So, yeah, don't worry. It's going to be a running bike, but do the whole kit and you'll be real happy with it. DM saying the garage is really rounded out. R9 is going to be it's going to have a tough review. R1s are finicky to set up too, like the Cowie. Man, I tell you what, I've heard that about the R1. And man, I'm liking the looks of the new R1 a lot, though. That red and white is sick, baby. Holy cow. But yeah, I've heard that about the R1s as well. I just don't have any experience with them directly. And talking about the R9, if I can ever get a leg over on one of those bikes, I would love to. I've got a weird fascination with the R9, mainly because for me, it's the Daytona that Triumph never made. It's just, it's the triple, it's the right displacement, it's shy on power, but I'm going to let that slide again because I think that the CP3 is going to make plenty of power through the mid range, and it's going to be a lot of power where you want it. I think that it's going to act a lot like, well, I mean, it is the same engine, the XSR 900, but I guess where I'm going with this is that it's a lot of power everywhere you want it, except for the one place where you need it. And that's where bikes like the GSXR 750 and the 636, that's where the difference is really found. And you get the right person on the right one of these two bikes and the right gear. Somebody that's got experience with the 4-cylinder bikes is not really going to worry about making short work with an R9 as long as the riders are of equal talent. DM saying, had the 750 not been there, the Busa got a long look with the camera today. Just saying. Didn't it, though? Oh, that bike was so pretty, too. So, DM, check this out. Okay, so this is no joke. That was the first bike that I saw. Like, that was the first bike that caught my eye today. And Hunter comes up and he goes, dude, we got to talk. And I was like, what's up? And he goes, so we're going to, do you want one of the bikes that's here? And I said, what are we talking about? I can't tell you the number on the Busa. Almost bought it. The thing is, he let me know and another dude know about, there were two Busas, the green one and there was a silver one. The green Busa and the silver Busa were gone. One of them didn't even get through half the day. The green one gone, history. The other one was also gone, and then one of the DRs was gone, like that, like straight away. This one was spoken for. We talked about the 750. I saw the 750. I go, dude, the 750, and he goes, number, and I went, put a red tag on it. Done, wrap, done. He goes, okay. So all day long, I'm sitting there and I'm going, that's my bike. That's my bike. So if you watch the videos, just know that, I want it. So for you guys that are still in the show, if you go back and watch those ride along videos, they're excruciating. I know they're very slow, not a lot going on. If you don't, just watch the one with the TT for sure. Skip to wherever I'm on that thing. And the kid that's on this bike behind me, we're getting onto the highway, and he was in like fifth gear or something like that, in the way wrong gear, trying to get on the highway with his bike. And I'm on the TT, and I just reel him in, just brrr, on the TT. Thing just absolutely motors. If you watch that video, watch the bars start to get light on that thing when I start rolling on the throttle. I'm gunning down. He wasn't trying to race me. He was in the wrong gear, trying to get on the highway, whatever. Watch the bars get light on the TT. So that's one of the reasons why I want to ride it again. The TT was so much fun, and I'm hoping that one will end up staying, because if it does, I can put together one hell of a ride and review on that one. And it's so pretty to look at. The green is just so good looking, but damn. The mapping of that bike, it fits the bike perfectly. It's such just an urban, I think I called it, what I say, like something like urban assault hot rod or something like that, whatever came out of my mouth. But it fit the bike so well. And every time I was riding that, you'll even hear me say in the video, intrusive thoughts enter the chat or whatever I say, because it's so just punchy and so much fun. And it felt better. It felt stronger than any of the other parallel twin bikes that I'd ridden, the 8R, the 8S. Again, I know they changed some mapping with this newer bike, and it just does feel better. Now, that doesn't explain why this one does what it does. Can't answer that question, but it really is that good. So anyway, there's some fun behind the scenes stuff, but I'm watching a guy ride a bike that I've literally, like, it's my bike, basically, at that point. I actually here's the funny thing. When I was up there yesterday, I took a picture of the VIN tag, called up Orange Crush and said, hey, dude, he's also my insurance agent. I said, hey, dude, add this to the policy. It's like, what? Yeah. So the bike has had insurance on it since last night. But yeah, the Busa almost got picked up. And if you noticed, it had the rear seat cowl. Everything was already set up, ready to go. And that bike is clean. And the dude that bought it got a really clean bike. Michael's in saying, I am late. That's all right. We'll take you late. Sniper say test rode it at my local, the 636 local dealership demo day and immediately fell in love. It definitely needs a better suspension setup and tires though, for sure. Yeah, get you a different set of tires before you do anything else, because believe me when I tell you, you're going to think, oh, it's Pirelli Rosso 4s. They got to be good tires, right? Right? No. I'll take the BT 016s that are on the 750 behind me before those. That's how bad they were. Cyber saying, can't wait to test the Bridgestone S22s on it. I got them on this one back over here. I rock 34 front, 36 rear. And I mean, it is like playing a video game with this bike. Sniper, what did you do for the suspension on the 636? Well, hold that thought. So Sniper, I don't know if you're aware, but we do things a little bit different around this place. So on that board that I was showing, you've got the cheat board. So at some point you can come back and check this. But I'll give you kind of an idea. So on the 636, the way that it sits now, we've got 35 is the front sag, 35 millimeters is the front sag, compression halfway +2, basically 1.5, rebound halfway +1, 2.5, rear sag 46 stock. Are you kidding me, bro? 43 stock for the front, by the way. It's way not good. With 16 millimeters free. Right now it's sitting at 34 rear with 6 millimeters sag. So it's actually not bad. It's actually set up pretty good. Compression's halfway. So just halfway through whenever you hear me say halfway, it just means halfway through its total range. So what I'll do is I'll take let's say it's compression or rebound, whatever we're talking about. I'll back it all the way off. and then I will turn it until it fully seats. And then I put it dead in the center. And then from there, I'll start to make adjustments. Sometimes I'll do it like that if I'm just trying to get the bike sorted out. And that's what I did with the 636, is it was getting to a point where I was like, man, I'm about to throw this bike in a trash can. Anyway, compression halfway +1, rebound halfway minus 1.75. So I actually took rebound out of it. And then what I'll do, oh, and here's some other stuff too. This is just when I'm working on the bikes. I've got oil, 3.3 quarts, NW40 filter. Gives you an idea for, you know, how to torque the filter down. Drain bolt, also same thing. Tire pressures. I was running 35, 37. I actually am now running 34, 36. Give you an idea also for torque settings for the axle bolt and the amount of play in the chain. Oh, and here's something else that I'll do. If you notice the shifter stock boots, these are just measurements that I had for the shifter when I was first working on the bike. And then what I'll also do is I'll have, this is a spreadsheet that I make where I'll make like running line changes. That way I can go back and go, oh yeah, what did I do? Okay, so in this case, you know, I've adjusted it now to where, you know, if the stock was at 1.5, we're now at 1.75, 5.5 millimeter static. So what I'll do is I just have a running line of what I'm doing to the bike. And then I'll have the printed versions of what's going on with the bike in terms of what the shop manual says on how to adjust, or it could be the owner's manual. Sometimes it's shop manual, sometimes owner manual, depending on the bike. Like here's some more stuff here, different things that I printed that just allow me to have, you know, the pertinent maintenance items that I need on tap, right? So again, always have the whiteboard ready to go. And that's just so I can look at it up at a glance and see that the 750 is getting that. The 1000s also got that going on as well. So hopefully that that helps you along the way. I mean, at least it'll give you a place to start. And again, you can go back. Here, I'll put this up here too. This might be a little bit more confusing, but if you want to go back and check, let me get this out of your way. If you want to go back and check later on, go, what the hell was he talking about? What was all that? Hopefully you could hit pause and that'll let you know where I'm at. And obviously as you go across this way, those are the latest changes that I've made. So, and I've gone pretty aggressive with this bike at this point. You know, rebounds, 2.25. It's not, there's not a lot of crazy stuff going on now with that suspension. I just had to get the sag set up first. It was way too pogo-y and way too bouncy. Hey, but okay, I say all that. It wasn't quite as bad as the GSXR 1000R model though, buddy. Coming off of a standard model, which is super stiff, the R model is super soft by comparison. So you got to rethink everything. That one was a little bit of a headache to get sorted out too. I had a little bit of buyer's remorse with that bike. But you know which one I never did? Look at that. I mean, just come on now. DMC Pirelli are terrible, bro. You ain't lying. Dude, let me ask you something. How in the hell can you make a motorcycle tire to put on a performance motorcycle? I'm just asking because I don't understand. That tire, I'm guessing maybe it has to heat up or it takes forever to heat up or maybe something else is going on there. That tire would skitter on this 636 going through Carousel. Now, granted, full disclosure, Carousel, I don't know if you guys ever noticed, when I hit Carousel, that is a very bumpy right-hander. The bike, you'll see the bike just all over the place. And also keep in mind, I'm pretty far on the side of the tire going through Carousel. Matter of fact, if I were wearing my leathers, I would be far enough over to where, without any kind of exaggeration, I could be dragging a puck going through that corner. Which, by the way, that didn't mean you're going fast just because you're dragging a knee. I'm just saying that's how far over the bike is. Fun fact, I'm one of the guys that rarely drags knee at the track. I will do it. Like if you see you'll see me at the track. You'll see scuffs on my pucks, but I don't really hammer on them. Anyway, I digress. That the right hander on Carousel, that's the one where it would just skitter so bad on the Pirellis. And I hit that thing on S22s, and it's like it is on rails going through there. In fact, I'll even say this: the way that the 636 is set up now, I've got to be a little bit like, I've got to remember that I'm on the street, because that thing is so good with the way that you address a corner and drop it in. It's the best of the fleet in terms of that. Sniper saying, thanks. Oh, he screenshot it. Cool. Yeah, absolutely. And if you need, like I say, if you, you can always go back and, you know, kind of dive into it a little bit more if you need to. Oh, I'm happy to help you, brother. That's what I'm here for. I mean, anything I can do to help you along in your journey, brother, that's what I take pride in that, man. Hopefully I am helping you. John's checking in saying, hi, guys. Hello. Cyrus saying the Rosso 4s feel a bit sketchy. That's being polite, man. Oh, DM saying, well, to be fair, the break-in tires are worse than what you can, but what you can buy in a store, but the sidewall is too stiff. Yeah, I tell you what, here's the funny thing. We're talking, so, you know, you cannot buy BT 016s. Like, you can't just go to a, you know, motorcycle tire store and get a set of 016s, but they come standard on these new GSXR bikes, and their replacement tire is the S22. So, but I will say this, look, the funny thing about the 016, and I'm only bringing it up because it is a known old school factor kind of a tire. It's not really it's not a high performance tire. It is what it is. But I will tell you that I have gotten away with some things with the 016s, with the other bike. Oh, and let's also not forget, it was an 016 that I had the blowout on that, and this is why I'll always run Bridgestones, by the way. I know you guys really, why don't you run this tire or that tire? When I had the blowout on the other blue bike, check this out. It let go, and it let go as I was dropping this thing into that U-turn, and the bike kicked out. Like, the bike kicked out like I hit sand or something like that coming into this corner. And it was just like, whoa, what happened? Wow, that was crazy. And I look, and this sucker is on the rim, basically. And I had to ride it like that for a hot minute. But just to illustrate a point, that Bridgestone saved my bacon. And so, yeah, S22s are so good right out of the box. S23, the same thing. For a street tire, for what I put the bikes through, I am shocked that those tires do as well as they do. But, well, I guess I'm not anymore because I'm used to it. So, yeah, a lot of confidence in those tires. I've got even confidence even more, or I've got more confidence even in the 016s than I do in the Pirellis. Cyber say definitely helped me a ton. Good, man. I'm happy to help. Always happy to help, man. Speaking of help, DM, thank you so much for the contribution, man. I really do appreciate that. There will be dollars very well spent. Oh, one other thing. So I've gotten kind of into the habit of running ethanol-free gas in the bikes, and they do like it. So I don't, if you ever run into that, there's some gas stations will sell ethanol-free specifically for like power equipment, boats and stuff like that. The 92 or 90, depending on where you are, 92 or 90 octane ethanol-free is good stuff. Like, it's really good stuff. I'm running a ethanol-free 92 in Pearl in the pickup, or I was, and it really liked it. DM saying, "Oh, thank you for all the years of fun and camaraderie, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me and putting up with me." But yeah, here's the fun thing. I am really looking forward to bringing you guys this bike. And I got to say, maybe I should say I've learned my lesson in this case. I don't want to get rid of the 636. This is the other thing. I don't want to say that this is a replacement for the 636. I want to say that this is in concert with the 636. I think there's a place in the garage for both. I think that the 636, being the most advanced 600 that you can buy, is going to be a good juxtaposition from the only, I guess, 750 that you can buy, but really more to the point, the least technologically advanced sport bike that you can buy these days. Oh, Sovereign, it sounded good. I heard a little bit of it, and then I got a phone call, but it sounded really good, man. Keep up the good work, my friend. Sovereign saying, please keep us updated on the 636. I need every detail. I am happy to give you every detail I can on that bike. Here's something. Let me think about, what am I missing on this bike? You know, I'll say this. Oh, also, Sniper, on your 636, if you get a chance, I don't know if you've seen it yet, one area where I might be able to help you out quite a bit with your bike, if you go to the video where I'm putting the FTE, I didn't do an install video, but if you go and look at where I'm talking about the FTECU sensor and the, what is it? Something Torx. Anyway, the shaft stabilizer. What I need to do is I need to put links on that video too. I need to see if I can find the links to those products. Anyway, check out this setting that I'm talking about for your shift lever, because what I would suggest that you do is measure it as stock and then drop it. I would start out dropping it by, and I'm not kidding, I'm not making this up, drop it by about 5 millimeters, maybe even 7. I want to say that I ended up dropping mine like 9 or 10 millimeters, might have even been more than that now that I'm thinking about it, because the shift throw is so far. I needed, because I mean, you've only got so much foot dexterity, right? And I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with my ankles. I mean, I got just as flexy as a foot as everybody else does. And I was having a hard time completing shifts on the 636. That's how long that throw is. And I don't have like small feet or big feet. I got normal size feet. Like, it's not like it's a weird like anatomy thing for me. So what I did is I dropped it so that when you put your foot underneath the lever, the amount your foot is coming up is a bit more natural. So anyway, I talk about that in the video and I illustrate it a little bit more. It's kind of hard for me to show it because the bike's way over there, but check that out and see if that also helps you. Even if you don't end up getting all the stuff that I put on the 636, which is understandable because it's arguably too expensive for the benefit that you get. Although the shifter feel is way better. If you're not used to working on bikes, I don't really suggest messing with it because there's a lot of fiddly things and there's some things that I didn't really get into, and I didn't do an install video on it. I just kind of did it. So anyway, check that out. Hopefully that helps you out a little bit too, as far as how to set up your shifter to where it's easier for you to complete those shifts. It'll make riding the bike a lot better for you overall. Someone saying, thanks. Absolutely. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I did or haven't done or that I need to. There's no updates other than that on that bike. That is it. So we're saying, oh, well, okay, yeah, I've been watching all your videos. Oh, well, thank you on the 636. And don't worry, there's going to be plenty more coming where that came from. I really do like my 636. You know, it's kind of funny. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be really trying to dive into that 636 to make sure that the quick shifter thing is sorted out and that all this kind of stuff is a done deal. you know, again, I really enjoy my 636. And there's always going to be the 636 versus GSXR thing, right? But what I will tell you is that they really are so different to ride that you can make a case for either one of the bikes and you'll be 100% right, because depending on what perspective that you find to be the most, you know, what works for you, in other words, that's going to be what is going to be the defining factor that's going to say which bike is better. One bike is not better than the other. They're both equally as good. And here's the other thing, you know, the 636, they say it's a 600, and I guess it is because it's only like 5% bigger, right? But man, it does not run like a 600. But this 750 sitting behind me, I'll just say this: I wouldn't want to drag race the two. I'm afraid of how far ahead the 750 might be, and I don't want to ruin it. Only because this 750 is shockingly strong. I cannot explain that. I have no idea why that is. I mean, it's got all the smog equipment. It's got its bone stock. It's got all this other stuff, and it's still creepy strong in terms of just how the thing moves out. But with that, guys, oh, we're into it a little bit over an hour. I am going to jump back in the middle of this thing. I have got to start finishing cleaning this thing up. Oh, be watching. There's going to be an intro video coming, but for you guys that are loyal on the channel, I wanted to make sure I got this to you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post that video up, but I got to get this thing cleaned up. There'll be more stories on this bike and stuff like that. Just, you know, in terms of, you know, the history, I want to try to, you know, show specifically the differences, like the little smog sticker and I think there's a property of Suzuki Motor Company or something like that. There's an inventory tag on the bike for the demo day. It's the thing that designates it as a demo day bike. I'm keeping all of that. But I got to get back to work on this thing. I got to get the dumb little stickers off the tank, get some scratches off of it. I kind of snuck it out a little bit when I was playing around with it earlier. The skeeters are like crazy right now. So I've been getting like all the dead bloodsuckers off of this thing, which has been a lot. I had a big one just stuck on my camera of the chin mount. Pretty funny. Anyway, I'm going to get this thing sorted out. Let me check back in with you guys real quick. Sniper, oh, in the 636 geared more aggressively than the 750? Like you would not believe, my brother. It is a lot more aggressively geared than the 750, which is all right by me. The bike is super smooth, and I like the way it's geared now. DM's checking out. Good night, y'all. Again, DM, thank you so much for the support, my friend. I truly appreciate it more than you know. But yeah, check out the videos. I'm going to post up the intro video here in just a minute if this thing will let me, because it's been a long day with this thing, goofy stuff. Anyway, with that, get out there and do something cool for somebody, because chances are they need it way more than you know. And hope to catch you guys on the next one. Y'all take it easy.